Hello everyone, my name is John Crake and I'm a quantum healing hypnosis practitioner. I'm excited to share this video today, which is of some highlights of a recent QHHT session that I conducted with a beautiful starseed named Desiree. I work with a lot of people who identify themselves as starseeds, and these would be individuals who came to the Earth in an incarnation cycle from another star system, another star race. And there are some common things that I encounter when working with starseeds. One of them is they're very interested in where they came from and what their mission is. And I also find, so we often get to the bottom of that in the QHHT sessions, but another thing that I find with starseeds is they came in to break systems and to help raise consciousness and bring a new frequency to the planet. And one of the ways they do that is actually incarnating directly into ancestral lines that are carrying very often very heavy trauma, abuse, addiction, things that have been kind of perpetuating throughout different generations and carrying forth. And they literally incarnate to experience those energies and to make different decisions, to literally break the karma and break the ancestral patterning, which is a very tall order because the things that they take on are quite challenging. So one of the things that we're able to do in the QHHT sessions is get to the bottom of what they chose to come in, why they chose to come in, what they're trying to accomplish, and also heal some of those things that they came in to heal, often to benefit their own soul, but also to benefit these ancestral lines and to try to clear up some of these patternings and lineages of abuse, addiction, lower thought, limiting beliefs, things that really aren't serving humanity as we're working to make this shift. So I'm going to be sharing a number of excerpts from this session and some of the beautiful messages that came through to the subconscious with this individual. In the QHHT work, the subconscious is really was identified by Dolores Cannon, who founded the work as not the traditional subconscious in psychological terms, but you could think of it as the superconsciousness, the higher self, the oversoul. This is the larger eternal aspect of folks that everyone really has access to. And in the QHHT work in particular, we're able to access directly individuals' subconscious and ask questions, ask for clarity, and also request that healing. And this is the aspect of you that knows every lifetime you've had, every incarnation, the reason behind each of the incarnations, what you were hoping to learn and accomplish in each of those lifetimes, and specifically what you chose to take on in this lifetime. And that the first section I'm going to be sharing is the first part of, we finished the past life regression portion of the session, and then we were bringing in the subconscious. We're bringing in Desiree's subconscious. And one of the first questions we asked the subconscious in the QHHT work is, you could have showed this individual any number of lifetimes or experiences. Why did you choose the ones that you did to show them? What were you hoping that they would learn or see, and what was the purpose of that? So I hope you enjoy it. I know the subconscious could have brought forth many lifetimes for Desiree to see today. You chose to bring forward this life, or these two lives, for her to see. Why did you pick these lifetimes?
It's important for her to learn from these lifetimes. Because one of them was healthy, very healthy, loving parents.
Yes, the last one she saw?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I was feeling from that other one something about the dad passing away early.
Yeah.
In an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
So what else was important for Desiree to learn from these lifetimes?
Just like that she could overcome anything.
Overcome anything?
Yeah.
And when you say anything, what do you mean by that?
Like heartache.
Heartache.
Or losing people or trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else from those lifetimes you wanted to show her?
That she's loved.
That she's loved.
Yeah.
Yeah. And may I ask how what you showed her is relevant for where she's at now in this lifetime?
For her to just keep loving her son to the best of her knowledge, because it is in there to be a good parent, even if she has to take it from her other lifetimes.
Mm-hmm. And is Desiree concerned that she's not a good parent?
She just feels like sometimes with how strict her dad was,
Yes.
she doesn't want to follow in the same footsteps and lose her temper and spank Milo.
I see.
Yeah.
And you said, you seem to insinuate that she might not have had the best parenting skills modeled to her in this lifetime. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And you mentioned other lifetimes that she could draw wisdom and experience from to benefit as being a mother.
Yes.
Could you speak to that at all?
Yes. So she already has it in her, the
Mhm.
warmth. She just has to remember from how she felt, and that love, the togetherness, the sacred triangle of the mother, the father, and the child.
Yes.
And to feel that bond, and that even if she doesn't have that right now, that she always has had that from now and infinity.
Yes. And that's an experience she can tap into and a knowing she can tap into.
Yes.
And do you have a suggestion for how she can do that for herself? Tap into that knowing and that energy?
Just to remember that feeling of being on the soccer field and her dad and mom looking back at her.
Yeah.
Like just feeling cradled and how wholesome it felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
to be there and show up for him.
to show up for her son.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of times when we think about past lives, we think about them in maybe some negative things that got carried forward, whether it was traumatic experiences, a traumatic death experience, patterns that were unresolved from past lives that get carried forward that are manifesting in some way in this lifetime. But the opposite is also true. Your soul develops skills and specialties over many experiences in many lifetimes, and those are accessible. And as you saw in this last segment that we just talked about, and the subconscious was basically saying, yes, in this lifetime, you really didn't have great role models in terms of what it meant to be a good parent, to have a stable home life. However, those qualities are intrinsic in your soul. Those are things that you have learned throughout many lifetimes: how to be unconditionally loving, how to be a great parent, how to be supportive, how to be a teacher. And those are all energies that you can access at any time. That's part of your soul history, your soul memory, which is really a very beautiful message. And also, into the lifetime that they were referring to was actually a very happy lifetime. And it was a recent lifetime that happened where she was part of a very loving family and unit, and they talked about that triangle, the balance of the masculine and feminine parenting energies with the love of the child. In this next segment, we're going to be talking about some of those gifts that are carried forward. Another thing that happens a lot of times with starseeds and spiritual individuals is that they were persecuted in previous lifetimes for sharing their gifts. They were labeled as heretics, they were labeled as witches, and often punished or killed for that. So a lot of these starseeds and these spiritual folks who have access to these gifts have almost cellular fear about expressing them and trusting that, because they were punished or persecuted for that in the past, and they're still carrying that epigenetic cellular soul memory in this lifetime. However, in this lifetime, it's more important than ever that they express who they authentically are and use those gifts. And in this next segment, you're going to see how the subconscious deals with that and works to heal some of that trauma.
She had to learn patience.
Patience.
She had to learn to be patient and to trust her intuition.
Yeah, was she not doing that?
No, she wasn't from the very beginning.
Could you please speak about why she doesn't trust her intuition?
She thinks that Daddy knows best.
Yes.
Because he always said that.
Right.
And he's very streamlined, but
yeah,
the intuition is not streamlined.
Yeah. How does her intuition work?
Her intuition is very powerful.
Yes.
And it's the thing that she knows deep within her heart, that even if people don't understand, she just has to follow it.
Yeah.
Even if she gets crucified.
And has she been crucified for her intuition in the past?
Many times.
Yeah. Could you speak to that? Those lifetimes?
Yeah, she was burned.
Yes.
And she was drowned.
Yes.
And she was hanged.
Yeah.
And she was told that she shouldn't do her magic because she was a heretic.
Yeah, and may I ask, is that still that energetic patterning, that trauma from past lives, is that still manifesting in her energetic field or system in this lifetime?
It is, but she's getting rid of it soon.
And is that, could soon be in this moment, in this session? Is that something that you can assist her with? Has her soul learned what it needed to learn from those experiences?
Yes.
Yeah, so is that something, asking the subconscious, can you remove any traces of that trauma from Desiree's physical and energetic bodies now?
Yeah.
And will you do so?
Yes.
Thank you. And may I ask how, I'm always fascinated by the amazing, miraculous healings that you facilitate. May I ask how you are clearing this from Desiree's system?
Yeah, I just take it from the bottoms of your feet.
Yes.
Your hands. And you make like a circular motion.
Yeah.
Going all the way up to the body.
Yeah.
Grabbing it out.
Yes.
And blowing it up to the sky.
Yeah, and you're doing that now?
Yeah.
Thank you. And will Desiree feel this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How will she experience this?
It'll feel like a clarity pulling up from the bottom.
Yeah.
It's like a peeling.
Appealing.
Yeah, and it's all coming out.
Yeah.
Being pulled out, kind of like you're getting waxed or something.
I see.
But it's like all pulling out.
Yes.
Pulling out.
Yeah.
It's the very top of her head.
Yeah. So one of the things that we find in the quantum healing hypnosis work is that physical manifestations of things in the body have an emotional, a thought-based or a belief-based underlying foundation or cause. Your body is literally manifesting your beliefs and your emotions. So illnesses, aches or pains, chronic issues physically in the body, emotionally in the body, have an emotional and a mental component to it. And one of the things that we do in this work when we get to the subconscious is we ask what is causing, what is the emotional, mental belief system that is causing this physical manifestation in the body. And we also ask when that began, when that thought process began, the inciting event that happens. A lot of times it was in this current lifetime. More often than not, it's something that's a carryover from a past lifetime. And then we ask from the soul's perspective what the soul was hoping to learn from experiencing that discomfort, that illness, that circumstance, because really at the soul level, that's all the soul is hoping to learn. It's coming in with certain lessons to learn, to overcome, to experience certain things and come to a new perspective, a new level of healing, a new level of wisdom about those things. So once we're able to find out what the inciting incident is, when it happened, and whether the soul had learned the lesson it was hoping to learn from that, we're able to clear that issue. The subconscious has literally said, one, that there's nothing that they can't do or heal, and also that Once an individual is able to understand the precipitating emotions and the things that are actually underneath the physical manifestation, once those are cleared out energetically, emotionally, that the physical manifestation of the body goes away. In this next segment, we're trying to get to the bottom of what is causing a skin issue, a skin condition for this individual called vitiligo, which impacts the pigmentation of the skin. So we were asking the subconscious, what is causing this? And the subconscious gives us a very direct answer, and how it has to do with self-love, self-worth, and feeling comfortable fully expressing her authentic self. Thank you. May I ask another health-related question?
Yes.
What is causing the vitiligo that Desiree is experiencing?
Yes, we have talked to Desiree about this before, and she was right with her intuition that in a past life she had brown skin.
Yes.
And we just want to tell her that it is okay. She is safe to have brown skin.
Did she not feel safe to have it?
Well, the media likes to say that, that people are targeted with brown skin.
Yes.
And that's just not true. That's just what they're programming out there.
I see.
People love each other, and she is okay to walk through this life and uplift other people that in her own skin. And it is even deeper than that. There's a few different levels. There's that she is safe to be in her brown skin.
Yes.
And also that she is safe to learn about her cultures and exude some of that, and that comes in innately, but also to carve out her own path.
Yes.
That is her own culture.
Yes.
Knowing that that's where the purest divinity comes from, and the creation and the creativity of divine source.
Yes.
Comes from, and that's why her paintings are so profound and different, because they're coming from a place that is not based on anything else except from the divinity of all that is.
Yes. She's channeling that energy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so just for her to keep painting
Mm-hmm.
and to keep dancing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So really that manifestation is more of a reminder of her of the fear or the extent to which she's expressing her true self.
Yes, she has to not care about tradition and cultural norms.
Yeah.
Because Desiree oftentimes wants to dress a certain way or express herself a certain way, but she doesn't, because she thinks people will think she looks slutty or think she looks weird. But Desiree is weird, but in the best way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And is that something that, and what was her soul hoping to learn from the experience of the vitiligo?
That has something to do with something about triangle.
Mm-hmm.
Her earthly soul.
Yes.
Is getting something downloaded from her starseed soul.
Yes.
And it's that she needs to embody what she came here on the earth to do.
And may I ask what that is? What did she embody as a starseed to do on this planet at this time?
She came to teach joy.
Yes.
And to be okay with letting people know that she's a starseed.
Yes.
And that she needs to let what that looks like come out through her outside. So she sees other light workers looking very plain.
Yes.
But that's for them. That's their path, and that's
right.
okay. For her, Desiree, she needs to dress in all those funky, crazy colors and
right.
bright glitter. She just needs to do it.
Yeah.
And she needs to not care if people think she's crazy.
Yes, because she's not crazy.
She's not crazy.
Yeah. a very common question I get, as I mentioned before, from starseeds is they want to know where they're from. They want to know the race that they're associated with, the star system they're associated with, what their lineage is, and what the heck they're doing here. That is the topic of this next segment, and we have the opportunity to ask Desiree's subconscious where she is from, and we get a very direct answer, and then the subconscious takes that opportunity to share a lot of wisdom and teaching about plant medicine, working and playing with realities and timelines, and also taking another opportunity to encourage Desiree to fully express her identity as a starseed, her gifts, and shares about the importance of doing so and how that helps other individuals express and feel comfortable and safe expressing their authentic selves as well. Yeah, and may I ask about her starseed origin?
She's the Pleiadian.
Yes.
But she's Lyran.
Lyran as well, yes. Yeah.
And she's part of the Rainbow Cat tribe.
The Rainbow Cat tribe. Has she ever heard of this term before?
She has. It came to her.
Yeah.
We brought it to her.
And may I ask, what is the Rainbow Cat tribe?
They come to Earth to bring joy to the Earth through fun.
Yes.
And without being so, life's supposed to be this way or that way. It's kind of like, we're here, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Let's make it fun.
I see. And does she know any other members?
She does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes people will reach out to her, and actually another member, she will see that they also paint rainbow cat tribes in their paintings.
Yeah.
And it'll be an exact painting of what came to Desiree.
I see. That's
happened a few times so it has to do with mushrooms.
Yes.
Magic mushrooms.
Yeah.
The pyramid.
Yes. These paintings you're meaning? The message?
The Rainbow Cat tribe.
Yes.
Has to do, some of their symbology are the pyramid, the triangle, which means love.
Yes. What does the pyramid mean?
It means love. It means being at the top of it, the all-seeing eye.
Yeah.
That is actually not anything bad.
Yeah.
That means that's the eagle's perspective.
I see.
And we want Desiree to not be scared of that.
Yeah. Has she been scared of that?
She has, because people associate it with Illuminati.
Yeah, these silly stories of humans, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I want Desiree to just know with all her heart that it's okay to be a starseed.
Yes.
That the beings that have come to her because they want her to know that it's okay to welcome us in.
Yes.
To welcome us in.
And
that it is divine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
May I ask you some questions about that, please?
Yes.
Especially about the plant medicine, the consciousness of the psilocybin and the mushrooms?
Yes.
Did you have a message for Desiree about that?
Yeah, they have alien energy.
Of course, yes.
And all Desiree has to do is be at the right place at the right time.
Yes.
And she'll know when she needs to eat them.
Yes.
But also, they come to her without eating them.
Yes. May I ask you about that?
Yes.
My understanding is, having experienced and worked with, what I have felt they're interdimensional technology, the psilocybin. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yeah. A way to achieve those states without actually ingesting. I've had it explained to me that they're one of the only second-dimensional beings that are as multidimensional as humans. Is that true?
That's true.
Yeah, and that they actually share their DNA into our pineal.
Yes.
Yes, which opens up portals into the fourth and higher dimensions.
It does.
Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, I do. They also are spirits of dance.
Yes.
So they come and they dance, and they also come to speak to us when it's time, because we're all encoded with special timing.
Yes.
So they come at a special time
Yeah.
when they need to, by either and they'll let you know when it's time to eat them.
Yes.
Or they'll simply come into your dreams and
Yes.
visions, and they'll talk to you in that way. And
Yes.
that Maria Sabina of Oaxaca, the shaman,
Yes.
that she was trying to tell people this too. And so that Desiree is actually related to her, and that she goes back from that lineage, and that's why she went to Mexico.
I see. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Was she aware of this?
Not fully.
This is validation for her.
Yeah.
Thank you. You talked about using, achieving the mushroom states, the states that have been opened up, the multidimensional higher consciousness states that are accessed through the medicine without using the mushrooms. Could you speak to that process and how we might empower humans to do that?
Yes. Certain days are certain portals, certain dates.
Yes.
Certain days, like Easter was just one.
Yes.
And that was the whole follow the right white rabbit.
Yes.
And that is a very psychedelic holiday.
Yeah.
And we are rising to next levels
Yes.
on that holiday.
Yes.
And so, yes, I would just encourage you guys to know that those dreams and those dates are important.
Yes.
Because a lot of information will be coming in at that time.
Yes.
And it's to let you know that life is like a fun house.
Yes. Could you speak to that?
Yeah, each room is like a timeline.
I see.
So really you can just giggle at them and say, hey, this one looks like more fun.
I
Bye.
see.
You don't have to be attached to it. So you can simply say, that's what will help humans, by simply saying, if someone feels so attached to someone or something or someone that either has passed or that, was an old relationship or anything, all you have to do is just say, okay, bye, we're going to the next room.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's okay, because it's all silly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
May come back to the vitiligo really quickly.
Yes.
Is that something, has Desiree's soul learned what it hoped to learn from that experience?
She has, except she needs to step more into her divinity as
Yes.
a starseed soul.
I see.
She's going to look very different. She's going to be very different.
How can you, if you perceive this, and maybe that's what she's resisting against on some level, does she know she will look different?
Yes.
Yeah. And is she afraid of that?
She's afraid of that. She's afraid of what people will say when they look at her.
Yeah, and how can we help her to feel safe in fully expressing the totality of of her lineage to the fullest extent in this human experience?
What'll help her is to know that she's helping others.
Yeah, how does her expressing her full starseed fabulousness help others?
Well, that's exactly what it is. It's fabulousness. And it helps these other people realize their own fabulousness.
Yeah.
Because they are also angelic.
Yes.
Everyone is.
Yes.
And so it's
part of our DNA.
Yes.
Yes.
And so people don't realize that. So she's helping people realize that.
I see.
When people see that she went from rags to this shining star,
Right.
it's going to help them.
Right.
Because then you're going to realize everything that Desiree was saying had some validity to
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for Desiree not to worry that it's all coming, it's all here, and it's all in the making.
Yeah. A lot of individuals who come to me for sessions have had non-human lifetimes, and you're going to hear an example of that in this next segment, where the subconscious talks about and tells Desiree about an ET lifetime that she had as a hybrid. And the subconscious also talks about and shares a very beautiful lesson and insight about working with polarity through love. Desiree asked about whether you have any information on the planet where the blue beings with the crowns and the lights and microchips on their heads came from?
Yeah. Those came from, that was a past life.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And it was a princess.
A princess?
Yes.
She was a princess?
It was a watery planet.
Yes. Syrian?
It could have been Syria.
Yeah.
Sirius. Yeah, it was a very watery planet.
And she had a lifetime, an incarnation there?
Yes, and
Can
the
you-
people were more blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a particular density in this incarnation?
It was like technology
Yeah.
was intermixed with
Organic?
yeah,
Yes.
and so that's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah,
I see.
and so it was a bunch of microchips, but it wasn't anything bad.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be. It was actually a way for Desiree to see that it was beautiful.
The integration?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so it was like technology and flesh together,
Yeah.
which was kind of like the yin yang.
I see. And I know there's civilizations and races who choose that kind of form. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And why do they do that?
It's to embrace the dichotomy
Which dichotomy?
of dark and light.
Yes.
Yeah, and to show that it's all just the triangle.
The triangle. You mentioned the triangle. Could you talk to us about it more, please?
Yeah, that's the love. Because there's more than two sides. There's a third.
Yes.
And that's the love that's encompassing the whole.
Of polarity.
Yeah,
It's like closing the polarity circuit.
into one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how that seems like a significant teaching for humanity.
Yes.
Is that true?
It's true. The triangle's the most important thing for everyone to learn from.
And is there more you'd like to say about that?
That it's a blessing, and you can meditate on the triangle
Yes.
and the infinity in the middle of it.
Yes. And what does that do?
That's a portal to infinite love
Okay.
and compassion
Yeah.
for all that is. And in surrendering, that's when your highest divine path is lit up clearly.
I see.
Yeah.
Thank you. Was there any other message from that when she had the dream and that vision from that lifetime that you'd like to speak about?
It was like a healing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We needed her to see that she's been all these things and to not fear anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that there are other worlds, other times,
Mm-hmm.
other beings,
Mm-hmm.
even dinosaurs
Even
that
dinosaurs.
we've been. And so it was important for her to see that she has been all these, and for her to be prepared for seeing more of that.
I see.
And that it's okay to access that, and that it'll all come at the right time.
Yes.
Yeah.
May I ask about the experience with the wedge ship that she had recently?
The which one?
The wedge ship. She described a wedge ship in Joshua Tree.
The wedge ship.
The wedge, a UFO or light ship.
Okay. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one was for her to see about the artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
That we don't have to fear that.
Yes.
That we are indeed an avatar, but we're here for specific reasons.
Yes.
And that it was benevolent,
Yes.
and that she just needed to clear out the fear. That was the fear being clipped away.
I see.
And then that it is the triangle, the all one.
Yes.
And so basically for her to know that she will be coming into seeing more of the truth
Yeah.
of what is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so they were from her home planet,
I see.
planets, because she's from more than one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Issues around abundance and limiting beliefs about wealth are a very common theme for folks that I work with in sessions. And I would say that that's an issue that most individuals on the planet deal with at some point. from the subconsciousness perspective, we are the creators of our own reality, and there's no limit of abundance. There's a steady flow of abundance. The only thing that limits our abundance is our beliefs around abundance. So this next segment, we're asking and trying, really digging into her beliefs around abundance, about wealth, and some ways to work with that and heal those energies, and some of the societal, cultural, and historical programs that contribute to issues around poverty mentality and consciousness. Desiree talked about some of her issues around poverty consciousness and some of her aversion to receiving financial abundance, but can we ask some questions about that, please?
Yes.
What beliefs that Desiree have are actually, that might be blocking her from receiving the full abundance that naturally flows to her?
She feels like she doesn't deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, from growing up, having different lifetimes and different cultures and ethnicities.
Yes.
And especially going to Mexico, that was like showing her that this consciousness goes very deep. Even this whole country believes that they're poor.
Yes.
And so she did meet other people in Mexico that had different kind of consciousness that showed that they can live the life that they want no matter where you're at.
Yes.
And she was able to tap into that on the top of the mountain in Oaxaca.
Yes.
And we just ask that she continues that vibe.
Yes.
That money will meet her where she wants to be met.
Yes.
She just needs to be unafraid to let it flow.
Yeah. And I know it is within the ability of the subconscious to remove those limiting thought forms and beliefs, those programs, that ancestral memory and epigenetic memory of poverty. Is that true?
Yes.
And is that something you can do for Desiree now?
Yes.
Thank you. And may I ask how you clear epigenetic lines and these really false narratives and programs?
Well, it's centered in the brain.
Yes.
We're going to have to build it up into kind of like a chi ball,
Yes.
like blue electricity,
Yes.
and get it, all the DNA and all the structures, and we just wipe it
Mm-hmm.
clean and put it into that ball.
Yeah.
Then we take the ball out
Yes.
and get back to Mother Earth,
Yes.
and then we put our hands of golden love, light,
Yes.
abundance,
Yes.
and gold, liquid gold,
Liquid gold.
and then we just let her know that the kingdom is within already,
Yes.
and that she does not have to be ashamed of having money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because truly there's more than enough for everyone, isn't there?
There's more than enough for everyone.
Yeah. And the more prosperity and abundance that Desiree embodies and manifests, the more she can choose to exercise her generosity
Yes.
and creativity. Is that true?
That's true.
Do you have another message around that for her that would empower her about truly opening to receive the full financial abundance of the universe?
Yes. She also needs to change who she hangs out with.
Yes. I'd ask you about the vibrations of the people that she mentioned, that she felt they were not necessarily a supportive frequency for her in achieving what she wants to achieve. One message that has come through the subconscious in the QHHT work is that Earth is a very challenging school for souls. There's a great deal of polarity on this planet, and that people have the free will choice to experience extremes of it. They also talk about that people are really inundated with different narratives, some positive, a lot negative, and have to often operate within systems that don't resonate with them. And in this next segment, Desiree's subconscious talks a lot about the matrix that people are living in, and control programs that they are subjected to. but also shares from a higher perspective, an empowering perspective on working with those energies and not allowing them to affect you and how they work into the larger plan. May I ask a question about, Desiree asked about the significance of the Egyptian deities on the beach in Africa? And that she saw in a dream?
Yes.
May I ask what their significance were?
They want to let her know that there's something about the Egyptian pyramids that a lot of humanity is beginning to wake up to.
Yeah.
That was hidden away for a reason.
Yeah. Why was it hidden away?
It was hidden away because people had to experience this ignorance toward this for their own evolution. And it was kind of like an initiation.
Yes.
Yes.
The one in the Great Pyramid in the King's Chamber initiation?
It was like being away from the knowledge was an initiation.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. This fallen knowledge for humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't supposed to be, it wouldn't have been.
I see. Of course.
And so these deities, and we gave her the dream, they were very cool.
Yeah.
Very tall, very cool and calm and collected. And we wanted to let her know that because Egypt was associated with Africa,
Yes. Chem?
we were told that black is not good.
Yes.
So now we are coming to the realization that there's a lot that will be taught through Egypt and through the material, that Jesus represents the material because he was the material of spirit, and that people need to not shy away from the material.
When you say the material, could you explain that in a different way that might be easier to understand?
Yeah, the material meaning items.
Yes.
Meaning abundance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So physical manifestations of spirit?
Yeah, we were told that that was like too much, that we'd get drunk off of wealth.
Yes.
And the Egyptians loved wealth, but we heard so many stories about them falling. But we're here, these gods are here to tell humanity that materialism is okay, because it is part of you.
Yeah.
It is, you are half spirit, half material.
Yeah.
And to denounce something completely and just sit under the Bodhi tree is not where people's souls are now.
Yes.
And so we need people like Desiree and people that have compassion and empathy to step into that, so then they can come back to the land of milk and honey.
Yes.
Within and out.
And was the distortion of that teaching of prosperity, or the teaching that money is the root of all evil, was that a control mechanism in some way to keep people in poverty?
It is.
Could you speak to that?
Yeah, because
what the intention behind that was, why that was propagated into the masses?
They want people to feel like they have to stay in poverty because they want to be dependent upon.
Yes.
They set up this system, this very intense matrix.
Yes.
Where the reality was already created.
Could you speak to that?
Yeah.
The matrix that they created?
Yeah, they have.
When you say they, who are we speaking of?
The government.
Yes.
Has a very specific way that they want everything to function.
Why is that?
Because anything outside of it would break away what they have built up.
Yeah.
And they're very set in their ways.
Yes.
They want it all to be the same.
Yes.
And because they set up intricate corporations
Yes.
that support other corporations.
Yes.
And yeah, it is what you could say is more of a shadow.
Yes.
And so, yeah, when people are waking up to their own magic, we just want them to know that they're safe, because you were supposed to experience the Matrix. We're not mad at the Matrix.
Yeah.
You're supposed to experience the Matrix because you're supposed to have a Phoenix moment, because it's all part of the story.
Yeah. And when you look at the consciousness and what's happening on the planet right now, where do you see souls like Desiree at in that process?
She is right. It's like her time to fly.
Yes.
So she is in the midst. She's been preparing for flight.
Yes.
But now she's like ascending.
Yeah.
Like in air, but ascending.
Yeah.
And so this is part of it.
Because really, as divine beings, we were never beholden to any matrix, were we?
No.
I mean, we as creator beings, could you speak to that? What are you, in any of these matrices, what our true ability to manifest is? Are we really, how much are we actually influenced, and are we truly limited by anything other than what we do to ourselves?
Well, the lucid dreaming
Yes.
is very educational.
Yes.
Because it shows that what we can do in dreams is we can alter them.
Yes.
And when we alter them, there's a ripple effect. And then the next scene in the dream will be what we just altered.
Yes.
Might not be exactly, but it'll be similar.
Yes.
And so that's very important for lucid dreaming.
Yes.
We're not in control of it all.
Yes.
They're not in control of it all, because there are some things that have to come about to that we're supposed to learn from. So in essence, we did set those up for our soul's evolution. So it comes back to that maybe we are in control.
Yes.
But it's all been for the highest good of our ascension.
Yes.
And so when things are happening, when there's chaos around us,
Yeah.
and there's super light or super dark,
Yeah.
what you could do is you can't control all that around you, but you can control your meditative state.
Yeah.
And the peace. Nobody can take your peace.
Yeah.
Nobody can take their peace.
Yeah.
That's something that you can have to hold.
Yeah.
So, and then you just wait till it passes.
Yeah.
Whatever chaos is going around, and it does pass.
Yeah. And what's the most empowered thing we can do during those times of chaos?
Be to meditate and to keep doing your art.
Yeah.
Surrender.
Some of those superpowers that Desiree mentioned.
Yes.
Yes. In this final segment, Desiree's subconscious brings through a message from a friend of hers who had passed away. I have this happen occasionally in sessions. It's certainly not a common thing, but when it happens, there's always a reason for it, and more often than not, it's a very beautiful and powerful message. Desiree mentioned her friend Crystal and was wondering if wanted to inquire about the status of Crystal and Crystal's soul and higher self, and whether she had a message, whether Crystal had any message for Desiree.
Yeah. Crystal just wants Desiree to know that she has become everything, and that she thanks her for walking her to heaven, and that it's a very beautiful place. And that was indeed her, that she was walking to heaven. And she'll know what I'm talking about. And that she's always with her. And that she has become one of her guardian angels.
Yeah.
And that, you know, when she passes, she'll become another person's guardian angel.
Yeah.
And the reason why this happens this way is because it's kind of like the Celestine prophecy, where we're all helping the next person help wake up the next person.
Yeah.
Help wake up the next masses. Like we are, some people, however big or small, are here, we all are here to wake up the rest of the people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for that.